E360 TV proudly presents messages of inspirational stories. Live streaming now to millions of devices, including Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, with your host, Donna and Jim, producer and host, Jim Grant, producer and host, along with Michaela Vidal, administrator and host, and Gaia Ginwa Balconi Wada, editor-in-chief.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Messages of Inspirational Stories. Today is Pets We Love, which is always a fun day for us, Jim.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. We really look forward to this because we're pet lovers and all that. And first of all, I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in out there in TV land. And we want to give a shout out to the 6-minute webinar at 6minutewebinar.com. If you'd like to know more about the 6-minute webinar, and if you would like to have a little bit of experience in the 6-minute webinar and what it can do for you, just email us here at the inspiration e360tv.com. We will give you a complimentary 6-minute webinar and share with you what it can do. And we have other programs here. We have the, Donna, we got the program How to Overcome Glossophobia, isn't it?
Mm-hmm, we sure do.
Yeah. Yeah. I love telling people, you know, for years I suffered from glossophobia. And they'll give you a strange look. Trust me on that. Glosso means, it's Greek for the tongue. It means the fear of public speaking. I suffered from that, so I know what that's about. And we have a little program that's complimentary on behalf of Donna and myself that we'd be glad to, you know, share with you to help you in your hour of need. And, you know, Donna, I would love to give a shout out today for people who are they're when you need them, you need them. And bless their heart, I don't think they even get a cold cup of coffee, a stale donut, and a thank you. I'm talking about handymen. People who are jack of all trades, people who can come over and they can look at something and they say, yeah, I can do that for you. I can fix that. And
I married mine.
Yeah. Yeah, Donna cut out all the other red tape and stuff. She said, I'm going directly to the source.
That's absolutely.
Right. Yeah, because Edgy's a heck of a handyman, isn't he?
Oh, my gosh. There's nothing that man can't do. He's been building custom $1 million homes for 30 years.
Wow.
Yep.
So if you need about a $2 or $3 million job at your house, give Don. No, but good handyman, my goodness gracious, they're worth their weight in gold. Mm-hmm. And plus the fact they are one of the few people when someone's having a problem and people know a good handyman, they call them handyman. It could be a handy woman. But the fact of it is they say, hey, I've got a person that, you know, they're reasonable. They do great work. They stand behind it. And, you know, I really recommend this person here. So we want to give a shout out to you folks that do the handyman kind of work out there.
Absolutely.
Because you are very much needed. And most of the time when they're needed, it's in an hour of need, isn't it?
Yeah, like yesterday.
Yeah, the door fell off last night. We woke up and there was a bear in the house. So I get it. My wife said either that bear goes or she's going to go.
Right. You're right. Oh, my goodness.
We talk about pets and, you know, Donna, I think we got a few funny stories we can share. We've shared funny stories, and I got to share one about Dixie. I had never heard of the cat breed Korat, K-O-R-A-T. And I was kind of looking up, you know, what kind of a gray kitty, you know, that Dixie was. We bought her as a kitten from the animal shelter and brought her home. And she's small as far as cats. And she has had just a unique little personality. And I thought, well, wonder what kind of breed she is or whatever. And I started researching it. And when I came across some videos of a Korat, Korat, that's when I knew, because everything they said about her, about the Korat in the description, personality, and all that, that was her.
Mm-hmm.
So, it being spelled a Korat, I started teasing her. I says, I've had you, several years now. We got her back in 2015 as a pet, a little baby kitten. And I says, I did not know you were a K rat. Oh, she pitched the fit.
Mm-hmm.
She did not like that at all. I mean, she came over to my desk and messed up a bunch of papers, threw it on the floor, and she pulled rank on me is what she did, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to admit it, but a little 4 or 5 pound kitty pulled rank on me.
Right.
But that's just the way it is. And Donna, I know you got 4 kitties there. My goodness gracious.
Well, it's funny because you said that, and I thought, I have never looked up the characteristics of a Bombay.
Oh,
And I have too. And y'all have heard me talk about Bullet. And he has some other affectionate names, and some of which I can't repeat here on TV. because
starts with an R and ends with rascal.
Right, something like that. Because I'm telling you, he is absolutely as my great grandma and grandma used to say, full of piss and vinegar sideways.
Yeah, hell on wheels, huh?
Oh God, he is. And it says here that Bombays are strong, agile climbers and jumpers, and are extremely playful as younger cats.
Oh yeah.
Well, guys, I got to tell you, I've mentioned before, we're doing renovations on our house, pretty much from the top to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So we got all the new drywall up, got it all done, painted in the living room, and it's fresh, right? Well, on the corner, Bullet just gets his hair in the morning or afternoon or whenever, and he'll do a vertical leap and jump 5 feet and just hang on to the corner of the wall this wide and look at you like, isn't this fun? And I've got claw marks in the paint that go down clear through the drywall.
Oh yeah. We had a little Bombay kitty we got from the animal shelter. This was many years ago. Her name was Tigger. And if you notice, if you notice that coat, they have a black satin shiny type coat. And they describe them in the description. They're like a miniature black panther, and that is 100% correct. We would go out in the woods, and Tigger would love to race past us. Cats like to pass you up. Look at me. Look how slow you are. Right. Look how fast. I got a turbo. You don't. And zip up the side of a tree, sit there on the limb and look at us like a cockatoo staring at us, come by. And after we pass, down the tree, passes again, up in another tree, because we have several acres of woods here.
Right.
And we used to watch, she'd chase squirrels. Up a tree, down a tree, up another tree. Then the squirrel would go from one limb to the other. And Tigger would say, now that's not fair. That's cheating.
Absolutely. Well, and Bombays are a breed. A lot of people don't know this, between the Burmese and the Black American domestic short hair. So that's why when you look at a Bombay and the light is kind of, I want to say dimish, and look at them straight on, they're pure black. But you get them in sunlight and their undercoat is that Burmese brown. They've got a little brown to them. And they're really sociable, but they're saying that, it just depends on all of them. So the one that was just up in the camera, that's Glock. And Glock is extremely timid. She's the most timid cat I've ever seen in my life. If somebody literally walks in the front door, she will go and hide under the covers in our bed. And you see this big bump, or small bump, because she's not very big. And she thinks no one can see her. She will not come out for anybody but my husband and myself.
Hmm. Yeah.
Too
That's
fun.
amazing. Yeah, Dixie's a little social butterfly. Of course, she knows our family and all. When the great grandkids come over, and the grandkids, hey, let's have a party. Let's get the popcorn going or whatever.
Right?
And it's just amazing how much joy and jubilee in our hearts that our animals bring to our life. And thank the good Lord that we have so many wonderful animals. I know people that I've known people, I still know a couple of them, that they have reptiles like snakes for pets. And,
Hmm.
bless them and all that, but that's not a pet for me. And, I've told the story once before about the Oscar fish.
Hmm.
And first time I saw an Oscar, it was just a big old fish. It really wasn't impressive looking to me. And I'm not trying. I know some people out there say you don't know what you're talking about. Oscars have personality. Yes, I agree with you because we had an Oscar, and they have personalities and they demonstrate intelligence. And James was in our Oscar in the fish tank. He was holding up some food about just a quarter of an inch out of the water. And the Oscar was looking at it, and guess what that Oscar did?
Grabbed it.
Jumped up and grabbed it, and he was just really, taken away with it. He really was. It just kind of like made him laugh, and it shocked him. I said, "See, that's what you get for teasing a fish."
That's right.
But there are so many funny pet stories, and Donna and I, we wanted to start off the show with a giggle or two and share with you. You know how we feel about our animals,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
my goodness gracious, uh, when we
I love
talk
this
about
one.
okay, what does that say? Renovation catastrophe.
Uh-huh. And it
That's
looks
what you
like,
had. That's what you had when you and Edgy were redoing all the house and everything.
well, we're still having it, but well, this is funny because this little cat on this article looks like a Russian blue, which is what
Mhm,
Niner is.
mhm,
And Russian blues are big, stocky, gray cats.
mhm,
Um, but the cats love to wriggle their bodies into all sorts of unfathomable places. And
mhm.
for one Reddit user, that meant the air duct. We were in the middle of remodeling our house and went out of town for the weekend. We got back and couldn't find the cat. I realized I had left the ladder leaned against a wall right below an air duct and saw claw marks around the open duct. I instantly assumed I would be fishing a dead cat out of the wall and succumbed to my fail by slumping down against it,
Mhm.
trying to figure out how to explain to my wife and 3-year-old that I stupidly let our beloved cat to his doom.
Mm.
About that time, he pokes his head out of the duct and meows at me, wanting me to help him out.
What a
Uh-huh.
relief that was for that, poor guy. Because man, oh man, oh man.
I
But
had an
they,
opening in my house in Ohio, and
mhm,
my cat Simey, that little rascal. So one side of the basement was completely finished, and the other
mhm,
side was not finished.
mhm,
And I saw him climb up and get up into the opening to go into the finished side where the ductwork and the roof was. And that little sucker would get so far back there and stay. And I'd put boxes up there and try and block it. And that'd work for about 2 days until he figured out how to get around them. There was nothing I could do. I was just like, well, he got in. I know he can get out.
Talking
Oh,
about Tigger, the little Bombay we had earlier. Uh, James, my son, we had a 1-ton flatbed truck up there at the shop, and of course we take Tigger would stay up there at the days, during the daytime with us, and go to work with us. And James went to the bank, so he goes out there, hops in the truck, takes off, goes to the bank. Just talk about a 1-ton, flatbed truck, And he comes out of the bank and he sees this little cat. He says, "That's Tigger." However, that cat got up underneath. Oh, because there's no place. I mean, there's no shelves or anything like that. It's just frame and axle, and you figure
right.
if you can figure that out, you're on a higher pay grade than I am. And James says he came out, she came out and spoke to me, and well, married. Hey, I know you. And he picked her up, and And when I saw him coming back, I saw the cat sitting up on the seat there. We fold down the middle part and sitting up
Hmm.
there looking around, And I thought, I guess James took her to the bank. James says, I didn't take her to the bank. She hitched a ride and somewhere on that truck, and I had to bring her back. And that's
Man,
several miles over there to the bank. And, so,
lucky that she didn't get hurt.
yeah, no kidding, but it just goes to show you they just get in the darndest places. They
Hmm.
really, truly do. It's amazing how their
Absolutely.
little mind, you look at their eyes, you see the little wheels in there turning. Oh, it just really gets me.
Oh,
This next story, this looks like what do you say, a Labrador?
golden
Golden,
retriever.
golden retriever? Okay.
Hmm.
The title says it's called Red Paw. Not red handed, but Red Paw. Says you can't blame a dog for trying. I'm going to share this story with you, if I may, ladies and gentlemen. Says you can't blame a dog for trying, and certainly not when they sound super cute. My significant other and I have been trying to teach our dog to make less of a mess in our house, specifically to not pull toilet paper off the roll. That sounds like something a cat would do.
Right.
And but we weren't sure we'd been making any headway until one day we came home to find that while we had been out, about 2 feet of toilet paper had been unrolled and then somehow rolled back up sloppily.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I would have loved to have seen that, wouldn't you, Donna?
Absolutely.
And the lady says, all I can imagine is that her playing with it happily, hearing us at the door, thinking, oh, crap, I got to fix this mess. Because, you could see a dog taking its paw and unrolling the toilet paper, but to roll it back up, that would be, yeah. But it's amazing how they reason in their minds, because we had a dog one time many years ago, about 45 or 50 years ago. And every time we left, she'd get very mischievous. She'd go out, she was an outside dog, and she'd dig up plants. And this is before I understood, how dogs behave when
Right.
when they miss you. They're going to misbehave. Okay.
Mine
And
mopes. Mine's a
yeah,
moper. He doesn't
and as
misbehave.
and as soon as we drive in the yard, she'd see us and she'd just go like start cringing. And I knew she had dug up plants, and she
Right?
dug up
She's
my
gotten
tomato
into
plants.
something. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's
Oh
just
my
amazing
God.
like that. But
That is
we love our pets. I mean, some of the things they do make us laugh, and sometimes they do things that's really aggravating. But later on, when they're no longer with us, they're precious memories. They really are.
they are.
Mhm.
I enjoy. I think for me, Jim, the thing, at least at this point in my life,
Mhm.
that I see and love, and I've probably said it before, is I literally, as much as like Bullet, he just, you have no idea what a live wire this cat is. And I am just not exaggerating. I mean, he will literally bounce off the walls. And when I say he's climbing walls, I mean that too.
Mhm.
And even though he puts fresh scratches in the walls, you know what? He's got the sweetest nature there is. He can get in
Mhm.
trouble by me, and I can scold him, right? I use a squirt bottle, and I'll squirt him pretty good. And he'll go down the hall and he'll hide for a few minutes, and then he'll come out, and it's instantly forgotten, even though he's still trying to dry his fur. They don't hold grudges.
Mhm.
And that isn't
Yes.
a beautiful thing.
Mhm.
Well,
Oh
hi,
yeah.
puppy. My pup just came in here.
Jake.
Hmm. He
Yeah.
never comes in here.
Yeah.
Hi, buddy.
Her lap dog.
Yeah.
The only thing
Well,
about that dog could fit in her lap is his head.
pretty much. Pretty much.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Mm.
Yeah, let's just share another funny story. It just says
Okay.
kitten around. You want to share that? You want me to?
I do. I do.
Okay.
It's so funny. So kittens and puppies are just playful,
Mhm.
and it's just in their nature. Jake, don't. And apparently, so is playing pranks on their siblings, which I see pretty much every day. My biggest female cat weighs around 9 to 10 pounds and likes to sit on the side of the full bathtub inside the shower curtain. My littlest tiny female cat, 4 pounds, runs across the house, slides around the corner into the bathroom, and shoves the big female into the tub through the shower curtain and takes off like a shot back to the other side of the house. And she never knew what hit her.
I hear you, Donna. I hear. I think all of us love to see videos of, the way a dog knows that they can scare another dog or a cat can scare another cat. And just watching it because you know what the end result's going to be.
Oh, absolutely.
And the fun
Absolutely.
is watching their little minds, I like the way cats, they kind of back up and, all
Oh,
that
and they
stuff.
and they twitch all over and they
Oh,
get the
yeah.
little shakies. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
And
their
they
tail
shoot out, yeah.
flips like this.
And they shoot out of there like a shot out of a cannon and the other
Yes.
cat straight up in the air, I
Oh
mean,
my goodness.
we should have, not you and I, but as humans, we should have fun like that. We really should.
It's
I ain't
so
talking about,
important.
I'm not talking about jumping up 5 feet in the air when someone scares you or anything, but to have that, that joy of humor and enjoying life and being young again in heart. Oh my goodness. We miss so much as growing up and being adults.
Right.
We really do. We've just lost our jump ability, our fun ability, and the whole 9 yards. We really have. It's just amazing. This next story is entitled "Walking on Water," and this person's writing about. So I had a dog that liked to lick the built-up ice in the freezer every time we opened the door. He got his tongue stuck regularly. He always went back for more. But that's not even what the hilarious part was. The first time we took this dog to the lake, he got so excited that he ran in without knowing what it was. Oh, water. Okay. He wasn't fazed a bit by it. He keeps running across towards the middle, and we thought he started to swim, or at least started to float. Still don't understand how he did it, but he ran along the bottom of that lake and just disappeared under the water. My dad had to go in and carry him out.
Oh my God.
I've seen dogs when they go, get around water and all that, and they just
They
get
jump
all
paddle.
excited and just, oh yeah. And they jet pack forward. Oh boy, it's like an amusement park for them.
Mhm.
It really is.
And it's funny because here I have an Arctic breed dog, right? He's
Mhm.
Arctic on one side and the Pyrenees Mountains of France. And he hates rain. He hates to get wet. He will not go in the swimming pool. He'll go in the shower with me so he can get a bath, but it's only because I told him he had to. But he will sit in the damn snow for hours on end.
Mm.
But I have taken him for walks and watched him. He hates water so much that how when it's been raining and then you've got a little bit of water in the gutter and you're crossing the street, he'll look down at that and step every foot over that puddle of water.
Wow.
It is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
It just goes to show you what a unique personality that each one of our animals have, regardless what kind of animal it is. It also shows you the power of the creativity of the creator to design all those little personalities in one little animal soul, because all animals have souls. They got spirit, they got a personality, they got, all of that. And just think, when you have an animal that's aggravating, maybe the creator says, hey, I'm going to give you that animal just to teach you something about patience or whatever it might be, So if you got
Right.
because I knew one lady many years ago, she had a poodle. And this poodle was something else. And she says, when I first got him, I didn't know what I was going to name him, but he gave me the name. I said, oh, really? She said, yeah. And she says, you want to know what his name is? I said, yeah. And she said, Lucifer. I said, I think I see the entire picture right now. I don't know if we have an internet problem or not. Looks like uh, I don't know if you're.
I'm
No, we're
here.
fine. Yeah, I didn't know if anything froze or not. So anyway, when it comes to funny pets, my goodness gracious, hmm, I tell you, like I said, some people they have all kind of pets, including snakes and whatever, and
Silence of the Snake.
oh yeah,
This is actually really kind of funny. So when
okay,
you have a pet and you hear a scary noise at night, you assume it's just them. Unfortunately, this Reddit user missed the memo on that. One night, I watched Silence of the Lambs with a friend and sent him off, and then turned out all my lights and went to bed in the dark. So I'm in bed in the dark, alone in my room, and I hear a cough. I laid in my bed wondering what that noise was and if there was a serial killer in my room. I had just I had just about written it off as my imagination going nuts, and then I heard the cough again. And that was when I sat up and threw my light on. And it definitely wasn't a serial killer. It was my ball python trying to fit in
fit
trying to
into her
fit
hide.
into her hide that could no longer accommodate her wider girth. The coughing was her scooting it around, trying to fit all of herself inside of it.
Oh man, I love that when you said the lady thought I heard a cough. Oh, there's a serial killer in my room.
Absolutely.
That
Oh my
that's the way our
gosh.
mind works. Donna, I've told you this story before, and I'm going to share it with the folks out there. Back around, it was in 2012. Evelyn's mother had just suffered a second stroke. She was in Tucson, and we went out there, and I had to get back to Brenham, and so I came back, and I said, just stay with your mom because she's up there in years, this being her second stroke. This is going to be a long-term thing for rehab for her. So she got her a nice place with a kitchenette in it and all, and one of these extended stay kind of a places. And so I'm laying in bed one night, and Donna's got a she got to let Jake out, so she'll be right back. I understand that. So one night I'm laying in bed, ladies and gentlemen. I live out in the country, and about 2:30 in the morning, I'm awakened by what really sounded like someone taking a knife and cutting the screen wire. Imagine how that sounds. I woke up and I thought, uh-oh, I got a problem. Either someone is amped up on something, or they don't think anyone's at home because we live out in the country. So they're not concerned about the noise. So I get up. Unfortunately, I've got good night vision. I don't need to turn a light on. Plus, know my house real well too. And I had a weapon in my hand, to be honest with you. And I walked down the hallway, go around and go through the kitchen, and it was on the side door there in our laundry room. And I'm hearing this type noise. It sounds like someone's got a pocket knife or something and just sawing through the screen wire on the door there. This is back before I replaced all the doors and everything, and it had the old style storm doors on it. Okay, and excuse me. And anyway, I'm going to face this, whatever it is. I'm not going to wait for somebody to, I'm going to take the initiative here. And so I slowly unlocked the deadbolt. And then I took a deep breath because my heart is in my throat now at this time. I'm scared, okay? I'm being right up front with you. I'm home alone. There's someone out there trying to break into my house. I don't know what's wrong, whether they think no one's home or they're amped up on something. One way or another, I got a problem. And so at the same time, within about a fourth of a second, I flip on the light, yank open the door, and there's nobody there. But the noise is still there. And I looked down like, what's making that noise? It was an armadillo with its claws on the bottom of that aluminum screen wire door, just doing it over and over and over. And I just took the door and bumped him. I said, get out of here. And there was another one over there. And they both And so now I'm wide awake. It's going to take me a while to get my heart rate back under 600 beats a minute. And the next day, Evan called me and I told her about it. She says, oh, Jim, I bet they were so cute. I'm going to be honest with you. The word cute never entered my mind.
Or went across your lips.
That word, it wasn't no word arising anywhere in the corners of my mind. Because that scared me to death, because that's what made me laugh when a lady, after watching, Silence of the Lamb, hearing that cough in the room, there's a serial killer in there. That's the way our minds work. And who would have thought it never happened before and hadn't happened since, but the little armadillos, we have them out here in the country. And we only see them, they come out at night, they'll dig little holes in the yard, but we live out in the country. We don't care. And who would have thought that an armadillo would come up there with his claws and down an aluminum screen door and storm door, aluminum door there. I mean, but my mind said, there's somebody out there and they got a pocket knife and they're cutting the wire on that to be able to get into the house, and they're coming in after you. Right. Okay.
Game on.
I don't want to deal with this, but I looks like I ain't got no choice. I never thought about calling 911. I just didn't.
Now, Jim, I have a visual of that. Of you calling 911 and a cop comes out, or the sheriff, and says you have been under attack by a dadgum armadillo.
That's right. And I fought him off bravely, and I can honestly say I'm dyslexic because my last shot was my warning shot.
And you know what? You'd have never lived it down by that sheriff.
Oh, I'd have been laughing stock. Oh, that's like, I got to tell this little story out of school. It has nothing to do with pets. It has something to do with how our mind works. I was out in my woods, and it was kind of a warm day. It was about September, and I'm starting to cut firewood for my fireplace. And there was a log laying on the ground, and I know that we have snakes out there and copperheads, and I don't really worry about copperheads because they're really not aggressive. You either got to step on or mess with them for them to strike you. You can walk past them; they won't even call. They're very low key. They're very much. And so I had an old analog phone, and I put it on vibrate because I wouldn't be able to hear it ring with the chainsaw going. And for some reason, I just stuck it in my hip pocket, and I'm squatted down over this log, and and my son calls me. You want to know what my bird brain told me?
There was this.
I just got bit in the yin by a snake. That would have been embarrassing for generations to come. I'll tell you. But it just goes to show you how our mind can jump to conclusions and stuff.
Right.
And when I hear a noise in the house, I've got to get up and I've got to check it out. I can't just lay there and say, wonder what that was. I got to get up and check it out.
Yeah.
That's just the way I'm wired.
We do the same thing here, unless we know it's one of the cats, normal cat noise. They usually, as a rule, settle down pretty good when we go to bed. Not always.
Oh, yeah.
But sometimes there's a different noise and we got to check it out.
Sure.
So this next one, Jim, you want to tell it, the sticky situation?
I sure can.
So cute.
My goodness. Have I seen that face? They got a picture of a little kitty laying on his back, on the back of his head, looking at you. And I tell you, it says ever buy your pet an expensive toy and they still choose to play with the paper bag instead.
Right.
That's what happened to this guy's cat. It says, my cat once discovered a roll of fly tape in the kitchen cabinet. And not sure how he managed it, but he walked in the door to find he had effectively hog-tied himself in the middle of the floor. A big fat cat with long gray fur sticking out of his giant stuffs between the strips of tacky, gooey tape. He managed to wind himself wind it all over himself, crimping his tail in two places. We felt
Oh,
horrible for laughing, but it was such a ridiculous scene that we were cracking up, even while cutting the tape away and checking to make sure his tail wasn't broken. He was a little traumatized and temporarily looked like a case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with many random bald spots, but otherwise perfectly fine.
oh my
I can just
gosh.
picture that because we've all seen our cats. I mean, you give a cat a ball of string, and I mean, they just love it. They love the unwind it and all that, and they'll get tangled up in it too. They really will.
I brought home silk yarn, to crochet with,
Hmm.
and I made the mistake of leaving it on the dining room table. And I was lucky. There's about 8, 9 skeins of yarn in there, and I don't know which one it was because they're all going to get into it if they can. But I had 2 skeins that I finally just had to put away as they are because I didn't have the patience at the time to try and undo them
Hmm.
because they
Wow.
went in and made one heck of a mess.
Mm. Mm.
I'm like, oh yeah, it couldn't be with inexpensive yarn.
Hmm.
No, it had to be silk, right?
Hmm. Absolutely. But I mean, it
Oh,
just it just floors me how they can just like kids, you know.
oh yeah.
You've seen kids take, they have a toy or something like that, but they'll, when Colton was small, my grandson, he'd come up and he had a wagon and all that, but yet he took a rope and he tied all sorts of things to it and drug it around and just the imagination. Oh my goodness, that was just
Mm,
fantastic.
that's funny. So this little story here is so cute. It's called Falling for You. Usually, when a cat injures itself doing something once, it'll self correct and never do that thing again. But that wasn't the case for this person's childhood cat. I had a farm cat when I was a teenager that loved to climb up and sit on the roof. Problem was, he had a habit of rolling over for a tummy rub whenever he saw a person. So it was a distressingly common occurrence to walk near the house and have him roll right off the roof.
Mm.
You think after the first 3 times he'd have learned to, but no. He lived a long life despite himself.
My
Oh my.
goodness gracious.
Well,
Yeah.
it's funny. I watched a interesting, and I got to go back and watch it again. It's on Netflix, and if any of y'all out there like cats, there's a really interesting documentary about cats and how they work. And the reason that most of the time, when they're in a high area and they can land on their feet, we all say, oh, cats always land on their feet. Not always, but most of the time. But it's because of the way their vertebrae and their backbone is that they
Hmm.
literally can use every vertebrate they have. And the way that it's done is that they can twist it and they right themselves. And I'm trying to remember, they have I guess, if for lack of the right word, they have a compass, and I
Hmm.
believe it's in their ears that tells them which way is up and which way is down.
Hmm.
Really interesting. So I'm going to have to go back and watch that again because it was pretty fascinating. I learned lots of stuff I didn't know about cats.
Oh yeah. They are simply one of the most intriguing animals I've ever seen. Their
Mhm.
personalities, the things that you do not know about them, and when you find out, you go like, "Wow," you know.
Well, I had a cat in Ohio. We nicknamed him Manini, and he used to play hide and seek with us. And my neighbor had an exchange student, and one day she saw me running and laughing. She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm playing hide and go seek with my cat." And she looked at me and she said, "Oh, that's silly. Cats don't play hide and go seek." And I said, "Well, this one does." So one day she actually got to witness it. But that cat was a
Mm,
riot. He would
mhm,
he loved to race home, and he was so intelligent. You could look at him. I'd walk my kids to the bus stop, when the weather was
mhm.
real nice, and walk them home. And that cat, we'd be walking home, and I turn to look down at him. I say, "Hey, Manini, want to race home?" And I take off running, and he knew, and he'd run like crazy. Of course, he's faster than I am. What cat isn't going to be faster than us, right?
Mhm.
And then he'd stop at a tree and turn around and look at me. And I swear to Jim, he would sit there and look at me like, "Ha! I beat you, Mom. I beat you."
Mhm.
But they have personality
Mm.
that just comes out their ears.
They truly do. And this next story,
Oh,
this lady is talking about, it's entitled "Oh Snow," SNOW, don't. And this lady is talking about one day after they had gotten about 7 or 8 inches of snow, her cat just decided to do a brave adventure and dash out the door and jump in the snow. And she said, the cat knows, she absolutely hates snow, but she always does this. She runs out, jumps into the snow, and disappears. Poof, She says, I'm sitting there and I'm going to let her learn her lesson. And I hear this muffled meow scream as she very, very slowly lifts her head up above the snow. Her mouth stays wide open and she continues to stare at me, doing this meow till she goes out there and picks her up. And then the lady said, not only that, but she did the same thing, exact thing about an hour later. And I think a lot of times too, it's the cat's way of saying, I'm going to make you, or the pet's way of saying, I'm going to make you pay attention to me.
mhm.
It's just, but, why would a cat want to jump into the snow? I've never heard of that one, but,
I
I've
we
seen,
had a we had a cat Milo that was a stray that came to live with us. We took him
Mhm,
in for the short time we got to have him. He actually contracted feline AIDS, and so
mm,
I had to have him put down. But
mm,
he was a character. He was a Russian blue,
mm,
and he would run around in the snow. Now he wasn't neutered, so I'm going to put this
mhm,
as delicately as possible. He would
mhm.
run in the snow, and when the snow hit a certain, let's just say a certain
Portion
area,
of his body.
correct,
Mhm.
he would start hopping like a rabbit, so the snow wouldn't touch that certain area of his body. I kid you not. He'd be
Mm.
all like walking along, like, "Look at me, I'm Mr. Bad, I'm the bad boy right here." And then that snow would hit that area, and then it was like, whoomp, whoomp, whoomp.
Yeah. Yeah, I may be a cat, but I got my pride.
That's right.
There are just some things that's off limits. I
Oh, that
don't
is
blame
just
him a
too
bit. I
funny.
don't blame him a bit, bless his heart. And Donna, there's a very interesting story here about a very punctual puppy. I want to hear that one. I know some of the folks out there in TV land would like for you to share that with us, please.
Absolutely. So, this one user changed her afternoon routine once, and her dog was not having it. My dog, Libby, rides with me to pick up my kids from school, and she knows exactly what time we leave.
Mhm.
The kids had an after school activity, so I needed to pick them up an hour later than usual. When we didn't leave at the normal time, she started whining at me,
Mm.
then barking. Then she swatted my shoe with her paw hard, so it flew through the air and hit me. She threw my shoe at me. She did not like any change.
Hmm. That reminds me of a story that I saw here. There was a little girl. her name was Savannah, and they had a rooster by the name of Frog. And Frog was her baby. I mean, that was, Savannah, the daughter, was her, that's a mama, whatever you want to call it. But Frog, the rooster, actually knew what time the school bus was coming.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you've seen it on YouTube. You guys ought to Google it. But Frog would take off running up the driveway there to meet the daughter when she came home from the school bus. And it's just an amazing story because he's just like a lot of animals when they're brought up around humans and their family, they become an extension of the family.
Oh,
I mean, he
absolutely.
just the way he would carry on, and you got to see the video. It's on YouTube, and it's
Well,
also
the
on
thing is,
Dodo.
too, Jim, that we have to understand as humans, we need to look and see what it is their personality is and play with that and let it
Hmm.
come out and not,
Hmm.
and not hamper it because that's what makes all of our animals so unique.
Hmm.
Right? They do. It looks like sometimes, how many times have you had a dog or a cat, Jim, in your life where it looks in the beginning like they're doing something absolutely ridiculous and it
Hmm.
turns out to be something not only maybe crazy funny or just no matter what, it's unique to them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They demonstrate their unique gifts and personality. And I like to share one more story, if I may, because we love sharing stories with folks out there, especially on this fun day. Pets we love. I mean, goodness, this is a
Right?
nice break from all of the things we see on TV with all the doom and gloom and all that. So, this lady, she writes in, and they titled this here "Egg on Your Face," and it shows a little kitty there. And while some cats like to play with stuffed mice, and they love to have catnip on it and some type of jingle and all that. This lady writes in about her cat likes these plastic Easter eggs. And she says she just loves to play with them. She picks up a half up in her mouth, one of the half parts of it, and she trots around with it, howling all the while, and with the egg functioning as an amplifier. A picture of that plastic egg there, half of it, and she's howling and it amplifies her voice. I mean, that's got to be, I'd love to see that one. I really would. And
Right?
one year we got these kids, these big eggs, these plastic eggs, and eventually she found one and tried to play with it the same way. Sadly for the cat, it simply didn't work. When she picked it up, it flipped over on her face and covered her eyes. Well, she panicked and started running around clanging into the baseboard heaters and whatever else. It was hysterical, the lady says. She finally dropped it and got rid of it and just stood there dazed. And then she picked up the egg and did it again and again and again. I mean, that would automatically crack you up because you imagine that big half moon of a plastic egg coming out of her face and the cat hitting the panic button.
Oh,
And oh my
absolutely.
goodness. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
Mm.
We there's a little stuffed cat that my husband's aunt gave him when his cat died. Just a little, thinking of
Mm.
you kind of thing, right? And this little thing is about, probably about 8 inches long. And that has become the kitty's kitty
Mhm.
in our house. And all four of the cats will play with it at different times. And
Mm.
we'll find that dang little stuffed cat all over the house. But we rarely see them take it and move it. We don't know when they
Mm.
do it. We'll see them play with it every now and then,
Mhm.
but it could be in the bedroom, it could be
Mhm.
in the bathroom, it could be in the hall. It just doesn't matter. It'll be somewhere, and it's
Mhm.
it's become the hysterical thing. Who's took the kitty and where's the kitty at? Because
Yeah.
they absolutely love that thing.
Mhm. And I got my last story I want to share. This happened with us. We had a Siamese male cat named Alvin, and he really attached himself to my daughter, Lisa. And Lisa, her mother had these little figurines, little ceramic figurines, and it was a mama cat and several little baby kittens that were all Siamese.
I have
And
those.
he took offense to those. He would get them and hide them.
Oh,
And Lisa would have to search the house and find them. Sometimes you find them under the bed, behind the dresser, you name it.
oh,
He
that's
kept looking
fun.
for a place to hide them things because he did not like any competition when it came to her, because he was the one that she really, really
Right.
attached himself to. And we used to get the biggest kick out of that because why would a little cat like that? And but with those little figurines, they're very small.
Right.
They're not big. But he was not having no part of that.
Oh,
That was
that's
his
fun.
that was his room, that was his girl, that was his family. Those things, they got to go.
Right.
And we'd find them all over the house, hidden somewhere.
That is just a riot, Jim. That is just a
Yeah.
riot. I tell you what, they are funny creatures.
Mhm.
Our Siamese Mag, she, she anything that has any kind of brush. So I have when we paint, my husband uses, I swear, a paintbrush this wide, and can do the edging between the ceiling and the wall,
Wall.
and never mess up, right? And he's got this
Hmm.
huge paintbrush. Me, I have to use a little teeny paintbrush,
Hmm.
otherwise it's going to be everywhere. Mag had my paintbrush, and she was going to take it. And then I'm trying to remember what he told me it's called, but you'll know what I'm talking about, Jim. It's one of those brushes that's about a foot long, give or take, and it's fine feathered, and you use it to dust away
Oh
debris.
yeah. Hmm.
And I can't remember what the name of it is, but that's another one. I watched her pick it up and try and take it down the hall. Anything like that, she will pick up and take. And she's
Mm.
the only one of the four cats who'll do that.
Mm.
So we have to hide all that stuff from her.
Hmm. It's amazing. Our time is gone, ladies and gentlemen. It really is, and we just love sharing stories with you about funny pets, and of course our pets and your pets. We don't have a patent on that, do we?
No, we
Ev-
don't. No, we don't.
Everybody has funny stories about their pets, and we think about all the joy and the jubilee they bring in our lives, and especially dogs that are good servants to us as far as being service dogs. And I think we've covered that a little bit. We're going to cover them some more in the future, but it's just amazing, what they can do for us and the joy they bring us and the unconditional love that Donna talks about, which is so true. And but imagine our lives without our pets. I don't even
No,
want to go
thank you.
there.
No, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. You got to have something to throw a shoe at once in a while. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. We sincerely hope you enjoyed the show. And you folks out there in TV land, thank you so much, because our show is expanding and it's growing, and we're so grateful and thankful to you. We appreciate it. And we as hope we continue to live up to your expectations. And on behalf of Donna and myself, be sure and love yourself first and give yourself grace. And thank you again. Be sure and share the show with others, and be sure and check out that YouTube video. It's also on Dodo. Frog the Rooster. He's a rooster, and you'll get a kick out of it. You really will. We'll see you tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Bye bye.